Hi, everybody. This is Nancy. Welcome. I hope that you're doing well today. Happy Eclipse Day. Later on, there will be a new moon solar eclipse happening in the sign of Aries, and I'm really excited about this. If you live in the United States, if you live in North America, especially in the northern part of the United States into Canada, you will be able to see this. So I'm hoping that if you live in those areas, that you do take the time to step outside with the proper protection for your eyesight to just experience this. This is going to be a once in a lifetime thing for a lot of us. And eclipses are really special because they are the harbingers of change. Hundreds, thousands of years ago, eclipses were omens, and they brought about change as far as the rise and fall of civilizations. And countries use them to predict the birth of kings and queens. And they also use them to predict proper timing for war and, for a lot of change that has to do with government leaders. Now, today, we have the luxury of using technology along with our birth charts to figure out exactly what an eclipse means specifically for us individually. And I think that's a really cool thing. You can use the eclipses, the lunar and the solar, as well as all of the other lunations, the full moons, the new moons. You can use them as really powerful predictive tools to really map out how the next 6 months to a little bit over a year from when the eclipses take place. You can map out uh, what's going to happen for you in specific areas of your life. So let's get right down to it. I want to show and share with you some things. We have this eclipse, of course, right here in the sign of Aries, and the sun is exalted in the sign of Aries. It feels good here. Okay. The challenge is that, and there are a couple of challenges. This this new moon solar eclipse is it's very close to the north node right here. You can see that the north node sits at 15 degrees of Aries. So this is going to feel really intense for a lot of us. It's going to, especially if you've got a lot of birth chart placements that are inside the sign of Aries, or if you have anything that's conjunct the eclipse, you're really going to feel this. So, we've got this going on. And the North Node is all about the mission. It's about your purpose, your mission of what you were meant to do here in this lifetime. So, right now, for the collective, our North Node is in the sign of Aries. South Node is in the sign of Libra. And so the Aries Libra axis is all about me versus we. So of course, Aries is it's about me. It's about getting started with something. It's about this new energy. Aries is the baby of the zodiac. Aries is the fighter. Aries is the person who wants to get things done. It's cardinal sign, fire sign. And there's no saying no to an Aries, right? So the North Node is asking the collective to stand up and to speak up and fight for the things that you believe in. And, you know, there's nothing wrong with the South Node Libra mentality of, let's get along, let's take care of others. But in order for us to do that, we have to take care of ourselves first. And I know that that sounds really selfish, but if you think about it, it's just like when you're on an airplane and you see those bags coming down full of oxygen, and they tell you that you must put those bags on your face before you help your child or before you help somebody else. It's because you can't do all the things that you have planned unless you have it within you, all of the energy within you to be able to do those things. So this is what this North Node is telling us to do. And it is conjunct with this new moon solar eclipse. So that's going to be really the focus for a lot of us over the next year before the North Node changes signs again. Okay, because it will eventually change signs into Pisces, and that's going to be a trip. So I will be covering that a little bit later on. So the other thing that is going to be very challenging with today's eclipse is that it falls exactly conjunct Chiron. This little key right here that you see, that is Chiron. Chiron sits at 9 degrees. Chiron is, it's more of like a meteor. And in Greek mythology, Chiron was the wounded healer. Chiron had a wound on his Achilles heel, and because he was half man, half god, he was not able to fully cure his ailments. And he spent his entire life trying to find a cure, and it never worked. So he used these medicines on the people who he cared about, and he was able to heal everybody else but himself. So this Chiron placement, smack dab right in the center of this eclipse, it is asking us to look at our own wounds, the wounds that we've carried for so long, trying to get over. And it is time for us to find ways to make peace with that, to make peace. So yeah, um, it's going to be quite intense. The other thing that's happening, because you can see that there is a very congested stellium here in the sign of Aries. Stelliums are placements are four or more placements in the same sign. So we also have Mercury that is retrograde right now. Mercury retrograde during an eclipse means that whatever events that will take place because of this eclipse, they will not take place right away. These are delayed because that's what Mercury retrograde does. It kind of puts the fly in the ointment. So yeah, so just be aware of that. Also, with Mercury retrograde and the eclipse, I noticed on the news that there are a few people, not a lot, thankfully, but a few people who are planning on getting married during this time. And eclipses are not a good time to get married. It's not a good time for marriage. It's not a good time to sign any paperwork. It's not a time to sign on a mortgage. Anything that has to do with business, you need to wait it out. You need to wait out at least 24 hours after the energies have passed in order for us to conduct any business, because um, this is just the equivalent um, of building something on quicksand or building a house on a fault line. You don't want to do that because the energies are really unstable during an eclipse. You also don't want to get married during Mercury retrograde because of the instability of that energy. So that's just a little tidbit there. So I want to show you a little bit about who is going to be affected the most. And I am going to be pulling up my own personal eclipse chart to share with you some things. And I have a class. It's a class that I made last week. It is instant access. You can download it. I will put the link in the description for you. So if you want to be able to figure out where this eclipse is falling in your personal chart, you can easily do that within minutes. You can look and see which houses it falls in and what you need to be working on over the next 6 months, because you can map this whole thing out using the lunations and progressions to see what's going to happen for you by the time the full moon rolls around 6 months later. The full moon in Aries will be taking place in Libra season. So yeah, you've got 6 months to work on this stuff. And people ask me all the time, they're like, when does energy end? And it's not a one day thing. This energy is going to kick off a, a lot of change, and it will last anywhere from 6 months until we see that the everything come to fruition with that full moon in Aries, all the way up to even a year and a half. Okay. And because we've got that Mercury retrograde, like I said before, there will be some delays. So, yeah. So, for me personally, this eclipse falls in my eighth house. You can see that right here. Here's the conjunction with Chiron. And my own personal Chiron is at 13 degrees of Aries. It's just a coincidence here. So it is sitting in my eighth house. And eighth house is all about everything behind closed doors. It is about sex. It's about investments. It's about lawsuits. It's about every all assets that are shared with a spouse, or it can be also about some legal matters, but everything that goes on behind closed doors, secrets even. So this energy is sitting right here in my eighth house, and it's making an aspect to a couple of my natal planets. So on the inside of this wheel, you're going to see some blue placements, some blue planets. Those are my natal chart placements. This is my birth chart right in here. And on the outside in orange, that is all of the current transits, of course. So, we have everything that's right smack dab here in the upper right corner of this chart that's happening right now with the transits. And the sun and moon are making a square right here, this red line that goes straight across. It's making a 90-degree square angle to my natal Venus, which sits at 20 degrees of Cancer. So if you have any placement, whether it's the moon, the sun, any of the planets, any of the meteors that are in your chart, the north node, south node, any of those things sits at a 3-degree orb. An orb is about 2 to 3 degrees, either to the left or to the right of 19 degrees of any sign. So it doesn't just have to be Aries. Okay. My Venus sits at 20 degrees of Cancer, and Cancer does make that square to Aries. So this is a push, and it is telling me when it is square with Venus, it is telling me that, and I'm single, okay, it is telling me specifically that I really should not be involved in any kind of a romantic situation until I have my eighth house stuff squared away, until I have my stuff figured out. Okay. That is what the message is for me. How long this is going to take? Well, according to the eclipse, it should take anywhere between 6 months to a year to figure this out. And it also means that with Venus being involved, because Venus not only rules romance, your relationship with your significant other, but she also rules money. So I need to really watch my spending over the next 6 months to over a year. And I intend on doing that because it is so linked with my eighth house, the house of everything behind closed doors, where I do have my investments. So I need to be really mindful of my spending during this time. And then the other thing that it's making an aspect to is it's making a soft aspect to my natal Mars. My natal Mars sits at 20 degrees of Aquarius. So that means that this is going to be probably one of the busiest months of the year for me. That's what that means when the eclipses make a soft or positive aspect to your natal Mars. So I am going to feel energized. I am going to get some support with whatever I want to do, kicking off from today onward for the rest of the season. I'm really going to feel like pretty antsy, wanting to get things done, go, 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 try new things, but it's going to be a really positive thing. Okay. So that's what specifically, for me anyways, that's the message that I am receiving during this new moon solar eclipse. And like I said, if you want to check out what's going on in your own chart, I will leave the link below for you. You just click on it, and it is $19 because it's the eclipse is happening at 19 degrees of Aries. My courses, my classes are usually a lot more than that, so you should take advantage of it. So, and inside of that class, I will tell you what it means to have one of your planets conjunct this new moon solar eclipse, or at a disadvantage. So go ahead, click the link below if you want to. I will be posting more videos from now on. I'll be posting more videos about the energies. I hope that you guys like my new format. I was a faceless YouTuber about 6 months ago, but I am like this new moon. It's all about change, right? It's about personal change. And so I am putting my face out there, and I'm speaking up, and I'm doing the things that I love, and that is helping people. So I'm sending you love, um, and hope that you're all well. Have a great day. Don't forget your eclipse glasses. All right. Take care.